You can see a little bit of sunshine appearing in the distance. This is about, 40 miles west of Edinburgh, so it's all quite promising.
The Australians in lane 1 for the final of the coxless pairs. Ian Bellow and Glenn Myler. Lane 2, Barry Mabbott and Ian Wright for New Zealand. Then the familiar features now of Stephen Redgrave at stroke for England. The caption should be the other way around. It's Stephen Redgrave in the foreground and Andy Holmes behind him. Scotland represented by Ewan Pearson and David Riches. And Canada, Dale Johnson and Harold Backer. On the far side in lane 6, a new Welsh partnership this season, Philip Gregory and Christopher Jones.
Are you ready? Go!
In the heats of this event, England and Scotland were the winners and Canada won the repechage. But New Zealand also could prove to be a pair to be reckoned with. England in lane 3 as Stephen Redgrave pursues his campaign to be the first man to win 3 rowing gold medals in the Commonwealth Games. But it has to be remembered that this is no longer a single-handed campaign, and he has some very good crewmen around him in his other 2 events. Here at bow, Andy Holmes. They've been a very successful partnership already this season at Henley, Mannheim as a coxless pair, and at Lucerne with Adrian Ellison to steer them in the cox pair.
And already in the early stages of the race, Stephen Redgrave and Andy Holmes are going out to dominate this race. Obviously this is the best way to do it, and in particular it's the best way to do it when you've got another race in 2 hours' time. They'll be looking to open up the biggest possible sort of gap and then watch the rest of the field. There we see a length lead already over New Zealand, shortly behind Scotland.
As they go through 1500 metres, the unofficial time 1 minute 32.3, and that is already 5 seconds faster than they were at that point in winning their heat.
And that's a remarkably fast time for a coxless pair. Definitely world champion standard. There they are in front of the field, rowing quite beautifully.
Both, of course, already Olympic gold medalists, here being chased by Barry Mabbott and Ian Wright of New Zealand. Mabbott a gold medalist in the New Zealand 8 at the 83 World Championships.
A chance here to watch 2 real world champions. Great class. 2 very big men. Stephen Redgrave, 6'5" and nearly 16 stone. Andy Holmes, 6'4", 14 stone 10. Big men who move beautifully together.
And now clear water between England in 3, but Scotland, Ewan Pearson and David Riches in the silver medal position. This pair won the silver goblets at Henley in 84 and 85, but this year were beaten by Holmes and Redgrave.
And this pair have something to prove here. They've been in the shadow very much of Holmes and Redgrave and Cross and Clift, and they're looking very hard to get as close to them as possible today. They have a reputation for being slow through the first half, but at this point in the race they're doing very well. But it's Holmes and Redgrave well in front.
And another indication of how fast the time is, 3 minutes 11.7. It's 15 seconds faster than they were in their heat. Scotland holding on well in second.
And Scotland have got to use their heads in this race and row their own race and not be distracted by Holmes and Redgrave, who are comfortably in front. Holmes and Redgrave have been able to rest a little after 1,000 metres. They've opened a big gap up and now they're settling into easy and relaxed rhythm. But behind them the race is developing. And there's Scotland lying second, with New Zealand half a length behind them.
Well, it would certainly create a bit of excitement if Scotland could stay in the first three here. They have never won a Commonwealth Games rowing medal.
And certainly there will be no two better men, Dave Riches and Ewan Pearson. Rowed with distinction in the last 2 years as a pair. Very little reward.
Current Scottish champions, winners earlier this year at Ghent.
In 1984 they twice beat the nominated crew for the world for the Olympic Games, and nevertheless weren't sent. And they've certainly got a point to prove here.
England first, Scotland second, and New Zealand third.
New Zealand have been steering a little bit erratically. It seems they've given a little bit of ground away to both the Scottish pair and the Canadians, who are pressing them hard.
4:55.7 as they go through the 500-metre mark. And they're now nearly half a minute up on their time in winning their heat. By that stage, Holmes and Redgrave were in fact so far out in front that they were easing off.
Holmes and Redgrave are sitting very comfortably in front of the race, and they won't want to do more than they have to win this particular race. They have a race to look forward to in the Cox Fours.
Now well in sight of the grandstand spectators, about 250 metres or a little more to go for Holmes and Redgrave, and this virtually a separate race for the silver and bronze. But here, beyond any shadow of doubt now, are the gold medalists. Holmes and Redgrave for England, New Zealand and Scotland almost level for silver and bronze.
And there's a fantastic scrap going on for the second place, and New Zealand seem to be moving through Scotland. These two big international oarsmen have found pace in that last 250 metres. Yeah, great race going on. And there can't be more than 2 feet in it.
But just about 50 metres to go now for Holmes and Redgrave to take the gold. New Zealand just by about a canvas from Scotland for the silver medals. It'll be Holmes and Redgrave now, and just silver for New Zealand, and the first ever Scottish rowing medals are bronze, won by Pearson and Riches. Redgrave has taken his second gold medal, partnered by Andy Holmes.
They go in the Coxed Fours final, and that's at 2:30 this afternoon. Steve Redgrave and Andy
Medal to
The winner of the gold medal for the men's coxless pairs, Andrew Holmes and Stephen Redgrave, representing England.
Another medal to add to a most impressive collection.
The winner of the silver medal for the men's coxless pairs, Ian Wright and Barry Mabbott, representing New Zealand.
And plenty of support here for the New Zealanders. Their banners very prominent at the back of the stand.
The winner of the bronze medal for the men's coxless pairs, David Riches and Ewan Pearson, representing Scotland.
And that gets almost the biggest cheer of all. The first and no more popular winners